Hey divas, welcome back to Women Unleash, where our inner strength meets unapologetic confidence. We are still in our journey, in our January journey, where we've been talking about wellness and inner balance. And last week, we talked about holistic wellness when we were talking about focusing on our spirit, our soul, and our body, because this vessel is what carries the vision. It sustains, it carries the vision. And if you break, sweetheart, that our vision, our aspiration, our goals can never come to fulfillment. So it is important that as we start the year, we focus back on ourselves. We focus on how to care, maintain, and sustain this vessel carrying our vision. And today we'll be talking about another topic that ties with our wellness and inner balance, which is rest. We all like to talk about rest. Is something we admire, but as women, we find it so difficult to put it into practice. And that is why we will be working on that this week and set your foundation to help us carry through, for the rest of the year. I said in here, so our key message said, rest is not laziness or weakness. It is leadership in recovery. It is wisdom. In a world where we celebrate productivity, we celebrate business, we celebrate, constant motion, everything is all, in high spirit, everybody, wake up in the morning, either 9 to 9 or 9 to 5, constantly, non-stop, Monday to January to December, no rest, no break. Have you not noticed that, like with the journalists, is after they have won, they've released, a story that broken headlines, that's when their managers just say, oh, sweetheart, you deserve a break. I give you 1 week off, to go rest. No. Why must it be when we have achieved something that we decide that we need a rest or we need a break? We need to learn to inculcate rest into our daily habits, into our week, into our plans. Even schools that know the importance of rest. After every 6 weeks, there is a break for the children. It's half-term holiday. But you know what we do as parents? We feel that week with so much activities that even us, we don't even get a proper break. We've taken time off work, saying we want to be there with the children, but we pile it up, with so many activities that at the end of the day, when you resume back to work and the children go back to school, everybody is exhausted. Nobody has rested. Nobody has been refreshed, because we just feel guilty that if you have to stop, it means that you're lazy. Sweetheart, I'm here to tell you that taking a rest is not a sign of laziness. It's a sign of maturity and is wisdom, because you go back when you take a break. What do? You replenish your strength. You have clarity of mind, clarity of vision. You're more strengthened. You're able to face, the battle. You're able to go ahead, with what you're doing. So as usual, I've divided this into 3 parts. Some of them we've talked about. I said rest as a form of leadership. And in this one, I said rest is not laziness. And then rest does not signify lack of ambition. Rest is self-awareness. Rest is maturity. Rest is strength preserved. Rest is leadership in recovery. If you don't take a break, you will break down. And we said last week that a depleted woman cannot carry vision. It's not so I said exhaustion. Exhaustion is not an honorable badge. It's not the badge of honor. It's sustainability. Many of us break down at work, break down at home, break down at different places because we never take time to rest. If your brain is going 24/7 without any rest, you're going to break down. Already we're just in second, third week in January, and I've had, 3 different friends and families that have just been rushed to, that have already broken down. Why? We had the Christmas break, we still didn't rest. We were all, non-stop. Today I nearly broke down. I woke up a bad migraine, prayed about it, took my tablet, put myself together, carried on my day. And, I had to have 2 different rests during the day. And I told myself, this year, Bukola, like I've been saying, I am not breaking down. I need to begin to learn to inculcate rest into my daily habit. Yes, it's something we all be practicing together because as women, rest is not on our agenda. Rest and self-care is at the bottom of our list. Every other person comes before we think about ourselves. We ask everybody, have you had a break? Have you eaten today? But do you even ask yourself? Do you look at yourself in the mirror and say, Buki, how are you doing today? Buki, have you had a break? Buki, have you rested? Buki, how is your mental state? No, but we can do that for every other person. Even we're beginning to train our, younger, yeah, girls and younger female adults. The rest is laziness. They just need to keep going non-stop. Please, this year, let's learn to take a break. Let's learn to pause. Okay? So then I said, the second part, I said the science and wisdom behind um, rest, which is also good because you see, research continues to affirm the ancient wisdom that we've always known that rest is deeply productive. When you take a break, it gives you time, to rewind. It said rest strengthens your cognitive function. It enhances emotional resilience. It fuels creativity by giving the mind space to integrate ideas. When we rest, our brain will be clear. We have clear space of mind to be able to think. You've been writing that story for the past 3 months, and is it writer's block they always call it, and you're not getting headway. Take a break. Take a week break from it. Think about something else. Take yourself, to the spa. Go, for a swim. Go to the beach. Go on a walk. Listen to something, and then just take your mind off that place, and then you come back. It will reset you. I said, rest sharpens the nervous system, reduces stress and reactivity. It sharpens clarity. It helps you make intentional, grounded decision. Rest is not inactivity. It is invisible productivity, the kind that strengthens you from within. And that is what we want. We need to be strengthened from within. There's a lot on our inside. We cannot afford to break down this year. We must ensure that we care for ourselves, to care for this vessel, physically, spiritually, mentally, because we are not going to break. So then it brings us to grace and guilt. So in this place, I said we're replacing guilt with grace. What does grace teaches us? He said, grace reminds us that we are worth it, and our worth is not tied to our output. Grace allows us to pause without apology. And when I decided to take a break today from the kids and decided to go and sleep, I didn't feel guilty about it. I told them, you know what? I need to take a break. I need to rest. Normally, Sunday, we come in as we're entering, from church, we're going to pack the clothes, sort out the laundry. I'm going upstairs, iron the clothes, get the things ready, get the pack lunch ready, like is a plan. It's something you do, back to back like that, Then we now decide to start doing lunch, doing this and that, and before you know it, the day is gone. And you come back at the end of the day, most of the time, 7, 8, that's when I have time for myself, to read or prepare for things or prepare for my own week. But today I decided I was just going to take a rest. And sweetheart, the children were all right. They were all right by themselves, In fact, my stress, I didn't even stress them out, They sorted themselves, they sorted their uniform, they sorted their pack lunch. Without me, you understand, had something to eat. Meaning that if I carry on without stopping and I break down and I pass on, sweetheart, life goes on. These children will move on. They will not break, they will not fail. So we need to begin to think about ourselves, invest in ourselves. So how can we practice this rest? How can we do it? We need to be intentional. Because I said, whatever you plan, you protect. Have you not seen it that if you have a rota or you have, project that you need to do, you've written down your plans for the project, you make sure that you protect that time that you allocated to do that project. And that is it. If we allocate time for our rest, for activities that we want to do, we will make sure that we protect it. And that is what's going to make us, productive. So I said, recreating your rest rhythm. You can schedule period of stillness or silence, intentional sleep hygiene. You can set your alarm to make sure everything just winds out on your phone, at so and so time. Obviously, if you have a family member that works night shift, your husband or your wife that works night shift, you don't want your phone to just switch off. Some of us do that where 10 to 7, all my phone switch off, no receive call, don't do it. That can be dangerous sometimes, because if you have a family member that is working night shift and there was an emergency, how can they contact you? So you need to strike a balance. But obviously, if all the family members are home and you all work the same shift, everybody comes back home to sleep, then you can put that into your plan to say, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., phone shuts down, don't receive calls, things like that. Or you can also set your own plan to say, by 9 o'clock I begin to wind down, put everything I need to do away, by 9:30 I'm in bed, and when I'm in bed, finish my prayers, finish my night rituals, and perhaps I just want to meditate for the next 10 minutes. I want to do a relaxing exercise, and then gradually, go to sleep. And it might be that you want to actually make sure that every 6 weeks, every 3 months, you take a break. I have a lovely lady at work. She's closing to retirement. But when she tells you her plan for the year, she has holidays plans every now and again, in the year. And when she comes back, she's more beautiful, she's more relaxed, and she's refreshed. Whereas I'm working around the clock, not even taking a break from it. And I always admire, and she always tells me, Bookie, you don't break, you don't rest, you're going to break down. And it's true. We need to this year intentionally create resting habits into our weeks, into our month. Those annual leave, 30 days annual leave that you have in a year. Intentionally pick a day. It can be one every 6 weeks, one every month, for you to have an intentional rest just for yourself. Just even if you just want to sleep the whole day. Even if you just want to just sit there and watch movie. You just want to sit there and cut off from everything that is happening around the world, but be intentional. Put into practice and be consistent. That's it. In this group, we always talk about consistency. Be intentional about what you do and be consistent. So, divas, as we go this week, I said, remember that a depleted woman cannot lead well. Create freely or love fully. So a depleted person cannot even love. You don't have anything to give. Once you run dry, there's nothing to give anybody back. And that's why your resting time is when you refuel, is when you energize, is when you feel up back, so that you come back, you bounce back, you're more strengthened and you have enough to give. So rest well, lead wisely, do not break. Because this year, the sky is our starting point. Those visions, those dreams, those aspirations, those books. I don't know why I keep talking about books. I think there are so many people that, they know they need to be writing some books. They know that there are some things that need to be done, and they have been, shrinking. They must be produced this year. This year they must be produced. So, sweetheart, have a lovely week, and I'll see you at the top.